All of you, welcome back once again. In this video, I'll try to discuss few important things with all of you guys to help you to make you more professional in the industry, because this is the prolonged problem which I have seen in the last 6 years of my career in the field of development, whether it's a beginner development, intermediate or advanced. They all have like 80% of the developer make this particular mistake, which hurt them in the long run. Definitely, you're going to work in the bigger organization. We're going to work in a team where you will have your part to work on it. If you take this particular approach, it's going to hurt you a lot, because a good developer can understand that what exactly happening. You can easily able to make fool to the intermediate or the beginner developer. But when you go to the work in the actual organization, which a bigger team, they understand that what you are working and how you are working. So your approach is very important. The way you deliver your part of the project is very much important, and it's going to help you a lot being as a freelancer or as a organization head. You have to know all of this, that how to deliver the product, because this is the common pattern which I have seen whenever I get any smart contract, any particular project to do the auditing, and this is the same problem which I have noticed amongst like 80% of the project. So that's what I'm going to talk about in this video, that how you can deliver your product, whatever you are working on. So currently I'm working on a decentralized app. Is going to be a pre-sales where I have written the smart contract. So we have done with the complete project. We have done all the testing in the smart contract as well as in the front end side. So you can see this is the complete project we have. And most of you make this particular mistake, that when it's come to building a decentralized app, you combine entire architecture together. So one part which is dealing with the blockchain, including the smart contract, you have to keep that thing separate, because sometimes what happened that we need special tools, we need a special framework to utilize and test that particular application. So that's the thing you have to keep in mind. You can't combine the front end, back end, and the entire thing and make it khichdi. You can't do that. So that's what approach we have taken. So we have created a Web3 folder in which we have all the code related to the blockchain, including the smart contract, the testing framework. We have the layout, we have the structure, we have the documentation. That's all we have here. We have all the things right up here. If you see, we have the environment variables, which we're going to utilize only in our smart contract deployment part. If I come back to the script, because this is what I want to show you. So if I show you the script, you can see this is the huge script we have coded. So we are getting all of this information from our environment variables, like the name, the hard cap, the private key. That's all we are getting. We are getting the timing for our pre-sale, that how it's going to be long. Then we have a couple of validators. And this is the problem which I have noticed, that you have to use the validator to check that what data is getting into the smart contract, because you have built the contract, you know that what variable it need to be taken. So you have to use this kind of thought. Like, I have never seen anyone utilize this kind of variables before actually deploying the contract. You have to utilize that. In the same way, we have to check the token parameter, because ultimately is going to be there in the contract when you will deploy the contract. So whether it's a proper parameter is getting there or not. Then we have the timing. We have to validate the timing, because we have three different timings, like hour, minute, and second. So how we can simply calculate all of that. So this is the most common function which you have to include. And I have never seen, only one time I have seen someone included this kind of variable check. You have this particular function. The next one we have is this verify contract. And this one is absolutely must. You have to include it, because you can't leave that on the client, that they're going to deploy the contract, they're going to do all the copy pasting of the contract on the block explorer, and then they're going to verify the contract. That's a huge lengthy process. So what you can do is just a simple function where you're going to simply include a function which can automatically verify the contract the moment the contract is getting deployed. And this one is really very important. To be honest, I got an amazing feedback, because this is the same strategy I have applied in almost all of my project, and one of the clients gave me this particular feedback. So to be honest, this is the thing which you have to do. You have to simply verify the contract, which is absolutely must for any project is getting executed on the blockchain, because your investors should know that what is there in the contract. So that's what we have. You can see this is the function we have. I'm simply getting the waiting period. You can go to up to 5 or up to 7, because we have to wait for a few seconds after the deployment. Once we get the block confirmation, that's what we are executing the verification process. So we are getting all this information about the contract. Then we have built this function, and here we have our entire script. So the moment it will deploy, it will automatically do the verification. So let me show you what I will do. I'll simply open up my terminal, and I want to do one change right up here. So instead of going with the 7 block, because I was testing with multiple variable, what I will do, I'll go with, let's say, 5 block. So once the 5 block is getting completed, means 5 transactions completed, after that I have to simply verify. So I'll simply come back here. I'm going to bring this up, and I am into right up here. So first thing, I have to get into my Web3 folder. I'll say Web3. I'm into this particular folder. Now I can simply execute this particular command. That's all the command I have initialized right up here. So the client didn't need to go from one file to other file, then copy the command and then execute it. You have to build every single thing right up here. We have the complete documentation. I cannot show you that. It's right there in the readme. There is all the steps is already explained, but I'm showing you this in demo practice. So what I will do, I'm going to simply deploy to hostly because that's where I'm testing. But ultimately this project is going to be live on the mainnet Ethereum. So what I will do, I have to simply execute this particular command. I'll say npm run and deploy and hit enter. And all the variable is, you can see that this is the account which I'm using for deploying the contract. That's the fund we have. And here you will find all the details about the contract. So this is the timing, this is the token configuration we have provided. So all of this data is the test data which I'm testing. So once the contract will deploy, after that we're going to wait for 5 block confirmation. So you can see it's deploying, because this deployment will take a little bit time, because this time we are doing the actual testnet transaction on the test network. So it's different when you are doing on the local environment as well as when you're doing on the actual test network. So you can see the token is deployed successfully. We got the token address and we got the owner address of the contract. So I cannot show you the addresses because it's actual contract which is going to be deployed, and it's a company project. So I have to simply hide their credential. So just wait. You can see we are waiting for the 5 block confirmation. And once we get the confirmation, then we are going to verify the contract. By the time it's happening, I want to show you one thing. Come back here in the hard config file, and here we have done the configuration. So we have using like ether scan, and we are using our API key, and here we have this particular endpoint which we're going to make a call and it's going to do the verification. So you can see the verification process is completed successfully. Here we got all of these details. Now you can simply copy the address. This is the owner, this is the contract address. Simply copy that one, and all you have to do is to simply, let me close all of this, close this, close this, close this. Now I can simply come back to the block explorer, go back to here hostly, and I can simply paste the address of the contract, and you can see the contract is verified. The moment it's got deployed, it's also got. That's how you have to build your program. That's how you have to build your entire architecture of the project, and that's how you have to segregate from the front end, from the back end, and which you're going to use in between for integrating part. So that's the approach you have to take. So you have to give the complete instruction to your client that this is what you have developed. When you will show this kind of professionalism in your work, whether you're working in your team, organization, as an individual, is going to give you a very good authority, very good confidence amongst your team member, and your client will also have really much satisfaction when you will do all of this. So this is how you have to do. This is how you have to deliver your project. Don't leave in between. You have to give the entire process, the entire instruction, and use all the possible thing which can be used in the project. You cannot leave your client in the middle, because you are charging real money. You're charging a very good amount of money when you are working on decentralized application. So that's the only thing I want to talk about in this video. So I hope you have understood that what exactly you have to do when you will work on your next project, what approach you have to take, how you have to provide all the feature which is needed in the smart contract as well as in the deployment part as in the front end. So just provide every single thing to your client. With that, I'm ending this video. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.